No one on the Kowloon rooftop that night expected the 16-year-old to fight back. Not the 18 gang members who had come looking for him. Not the frightened witnesses watching from nearby buildings. And certainly not the boy's father, who would receive news of the incident 3 hours later and make a decision that would change martial arts history forever. The boy was small, skinny, a troublemaker who'd gotten into too many street fights, who'd challenged the wrong people, who'd finally pushed too far. They came to teach him a lesson, to show him what happened when you disrespected men who controlled the streets. What they didn't know was that this boy had been training with Ip Man for 3 years, that his hands understood violence in ways most adults never would, that cornering him on a rooftop with nowhere to run was the worst tactical decision they could have made. This is the story of the fight that sent Bruce Lee to America. For this is the night Hong Kong's most dangerous teenager became someone else's problem. This is November 1958, and everything is about to change. Hong Kong, Kowloon Peninsula, November 1958. The city is alive with its particular energy. Neon signs reflecting off wet pavement. Street vendors filling narrow alleys with the smell of roasting duck and steaming dumplings. Trams clanging through crowded intersections. Cantonese voices creating a constant backdrop of negotiation, argument, laughter, a life. But above the street level, on the rooftops, there's a different Hong Kong. A Hong Kong that exists in the gaps between buildings, where laundry lines stretch between structures like spider webs, where families dry fish and vegetables under the sun, where teenagers gather to smoke cigarettes and avoid parents, where street gangs settle disputes away from police patrols. The rooftop at 218 Nathan Road is 5 stories up, concrete and tar paper, surrounded by a low wall that separates it from the alley below, accessible by a narrow stairwell that connects to the building's interior. At night, it's dark up here. The nearest streetlight is too far away to provide more than ambient glow. The only real illumination comes from apartment windows in neighboring buildings. Bruce Lee has been coming to this rooftop for 2 years. It's a place where he can practice forms without his father complaining about noise, where he can meet friends away from adult supervision, where he can be himself without the weight of his family's expectations. His father, Lee Hoi-chuen, is a famous Cantonese opera star. His family has money, status. But Bruce doesn't feel like he belongs in that world. He feels restless, angry, like something inside him is burning, and he doesn't know what to do with the heat. So he fights. Not organized fights, street fights, school fights. They're rooftop challenges against other teenagers testing boundaries and establishing territory. He's been doing it since he was 13, getting better at it, winning more than losing, building a reputation as someone who doesn't back down, someone with fast hands and no fear. But reputation has consequences. The incident that brought him to this rooftop tonight started 3 weeks earlier. Bruce had gotten into a confrontation with a boy named Wu, older, bigger, and connected to one of the neighborhood gangs that controlled protection rackets and illegal gambling. The fight was quick. Bruce won decisively. Wu went home with a broken nose and wounded pride. In Hong Kong street culture, this wasn't just a fight between teenagers. It was disrespect. Wu's gang, a Triad-affiliated group that operated in Kowloon, took it as a challenge to their authority. They couldn't let a 16-year-old embarrass one of their members without response, and it would make them look weak, and in the world they inhabited, looking weak was more dangerous than actually being weak. So they came looking for Bruce. He's been avoiding them for 3 weeks, changing routines, taking different routes to school, staying away from places where they might find him. But tonight, he made a mistake. He came to the rooftop out of habit, muscle memory. The place felt safe because it had always been safe. It isn't safe anymore. And Bruce is practicing a form when he hears footsteps on the stairwell. Multiple footsteps. Too many for friends. His body recognizes danger before his conscious mind processes it. 3 years of training with Ip Man have developed instincts that operate faster than thought. He turns as they emerge onto the rooftop. 18 men, not boys. Men. Ages ranging from late teens to mid-20s. Some carrying pipes, others with chains, a few with knives visible at their belts. They spread out immediately, forming a loose semicircle that cuts off access to the stairwell. Professional positioning. They've done this before. Wu is among them. His nose has healed crooked. He points at Bruce. That's him. The man who appears to be the leader steps forward. He's in his mid-20s. Thin face, cold eyes, scar running from his left ear to his jawline. His name is Cheng. In Kowloon's underworld, Cheng has a reputation for violence that goes beyond street fighting. He's hurt people badly, put them in hospitals. There are rumors he's killed, though nothing proven. Bruce Lee, Cheng says. His Cantonese carries the particular accent of someone born in the old walled city. You've been making Wu look bad. Bruce doesn't respond. His mind is working through scenarios. 18 men, weapons, rooftop with one exit that's blocked. Bad odds, terrible odds. Odds that any rational person would recognize as unsurvivable. But Bruce isn't thinking about survival strategies. He's thinking about something Ip Man told him 6 months ago during training. When you're outnumbered, you have 2 choices: run or change the geometry. If you can't run, you must make them fight you one at a time. Use their numbers against them. Force them into positions where they block each other. I didn't make Wu look bad, Bruce says finally. Wu made Wu look bad. Cheng's expression doesn't change. Disrespectful. That's your problem. You don't know your place. My place? You're a rich kid. Your father makes movies. You live in a nice apartment. You should be studying, staying out of street business. Cheng takes another step forward. Instead, you're up here playing tough guy, fighting people who are actually tough. Bruce's hands are loose at his sides, his weight centered. He's assessing distances, positions. The nearest man is 8 feet away. The stairwell is 15 feet behind the semicircle. The rooftop wall is 20 feet behind him. If he runs for the wall, they'll catch him before he can climb down. If he tries to break through to the stairwell, 18 men will overwhelm him in seconds. No good options. So he chooses the worst option. The option that makes no tactical sense. The option that Ip Man probably wouldn't recommend, but that feels true to something in Bruce's nature. He attacks. Not the leader, not Cheng. That's what they expect. And he goes for the man on the far left of the semicircle. The smallest one. The one holding a pipe instead of a knife. The one who looks least comfortable with violence. Bruce covers the 8 feet in less than a second. His straight lead punch, the punch Ip Man has drilled into him for 3 years, catches the man on the temple. Not full power. Bruce isn't trying to kill him, just disable. The man drops. The pipe clatters on concrete. The other 17 react. But they react with the confusion of people whose plan just fell apart. They expected Bruce to surrender, or run, or beg. They didn't expect him to start the fight. Bruce doesn't give them time to reorganize. He grabs the fallen pipe and swings it at the next nearest man, catches him on the shoulder. The man screams and stumbles back into 2 others. They all go down in a tangle, 14 still standing. Cheng is shouting orders. Circle him! Don't let him! Bruce is already moving, not trying to fight his way to the stairwell. That's predictable. He's moving along the perimeter of the rooftop, forcing them to chase, to cluster, to get in each other's way. A man with a chain swings it at Bruce's head. Bruce ducks under it. The chain continues its arc and catches another gang member across the face. The man screams. Blood appears. The one who swung the chain freezes for a moment. Horror at what he just did to his own teammate. Bruce drives a side kick into his knee. Now the joint hyperextends. The man collapses. 12. Two more rush him simultaneously from different angles. Better tactics. Harder to defend. Bruce drops the pipe and uses his hands. Pak Sao to deflect the first man's punch while simultaneously striking the second man's throat with his other hand. Not hard enough to crush the windpipe. Ip Man has been clear about that line, but hard enough to make breathing difficult. Both men stagger back. 10, still mobile. The fight has lasted maybe 30 seconds. Bruce is breathing hard, not from exertion, from adrenaline. His heart hammering. His senses sharp with fear and focus. He can hear someone shouting from a neighboring building. Witnesses yelling at them to stop, to take it off the rooftop. No one calling police. In Kowloon, you don't call police on Triad matters. Not if you want to keep living there safely. Cheng has stopped giving orders. His expression has changed. The cold confidence is gone. In its place is something uglier. Bruce has just disabled 8 of his men, made the whole crew look incompetent, in front of witnesses, in front of Wu, who they came here to avenge. This isn't about teaching Bruce a lesson anymore. This is about saving face, about reasserting dominance, about making sure the story that spreads through Kowloon isn't about how a 16-year-old embarrassed 18 gang members. Cheng pulls a knife from his belt. No more playing. Or break his legs! The remaining men close in more carefully now, more coordinated. They've seen what Bruce can do. They're not going to rush individually. They're going to overwhelm him with simultaneous attacks from multiple angles. Bruce backs toward the rooftop wall. Not retreat. Tactical positioning. If they're all in front of him, they can't surround him completely. The wall protects his back. 3 men advance together. 1 from the left, 1 center, 1 from the right. They time it so their attacks will arrive simultaneously. Bruce would need to be in 3 places at once to defend. He doesn't defend. He attacks. He picks the center man, advances to meet him before the timing is right, before the 3 attacks can synchronize. His rising knee catches the center man's groin. As that man folds, Bruce uses his shoulders to shove him into the man on the right. They collide. Go down together. The man on the left, now alone with his attack, swings a fist. Bruce's bong sao deflects it upward while his simultaneous punch catches the man's ribs. The man gasps, stumbles, 7 still functional. But Bruce is tiring. The adrenaline that gave him edge is becoming weight. His breathing is labored. His arms feel heavy. Small cuts on his face and hands are bleeding from deflected attacks. One eye is swelling where someone landed a glancing blow. Cheng sees it. He's done. Finish him. The 7 remaining men advance as a unit. Slower, more cautious. But inevitable. Bruce has no more tricks, no more geometry to exploit. They're going to reach him, and when they do, he's going to lose. Then 2 things happen that change everything. First, someone shouts from the stairwell, a voice Bruce recognizes. Danny, his friend from school. Not alone. 3 others with him. Not gang members, just teenagers. Bruce's friends who heard there was trouble and came to help. The 7 gang members pause, glance toward the stairwell. 4 more opponents changes the math. The second thing happens while they're distracted. Bruce sees his opening, not to the stairwell, to the rooftop wall. 20 feet, if he can get there, if he can get over the wall. There's a lower rooftop 1 story down, a 6-foot drop, survivable. He runs. Cheng realizes what's happening. Stop him! But Bruce is already at the wall. He vaults over it, drops into darkness, lands on the lower rooftop. His ankle rolls. Pain shoots up his leg. He doesn't stop. He limps to the next building, and the next, putting distance between himself and the rooftop at 218 Nathan Road. Behind him, he can hear shouting, arguments, Cheng's voice cutting through, threatening Bruce's friends, Danny shouting back. Then sounds of another fight starting. Bruce wants to go back, help his friends, but his ankle won't support running, and going back means getting caught. He makes it to his apartment building 40 minutes later, limping, bleeding, his clothes torn. His mother screams when she sees him. His father takes one look and goes silent. That silence is worse than screaming. 3 hours later, Hoi-chuen makes phone calls, to connections, to people who know people. He learns the full story. 18 gang members, a rooftop fight, multiple witnesses, Cheng making threats, saying this isn't over, saying Bruce will pay. Hoi-chuen is a famous opera star. He has status, money, connections. No, but none of that matters against Triad organizations. They exist in a parallel structure where status and money mean different things, where violence is currency and reputation is everything. His son has made himself a target, and targets don't stay safe in Hong Kong, not from people like Cheng. That night, Hoi-chuen sits down with his wife. They discuss options. They could pay, try to negotiate, but Cheng doesn't want money. He wants to save face, which means hurting Bruce publicly. They're making an example. They could try to hide Bruce, send him to relatives in another part of Hong Kong, but Hong Kong is small. Triad networks span the territory. There's nowhere to hide long term, or they could send him away, out of Hong Kong entirely, somewhere the Triads don't operate, somewhere far enough that Cheng's reach doesn't extend. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco. He has American citizenship through birth. His father has saved money, enough to send him to America, or to let him start over somewhere without the weight of street reputation and gang politics. On November 28, 1958, 2 weeks after the rooftop fight, 16-year-old Bruce Lee boards a ship bound for San Francisco. His parents give him $100 and the name of a family friend who might help him get settled. He leaves behind his friends, his training with Ip Man, everything familiar, because a fight on a Kowloon rooftop escalated beyond what street culture could contain. Decades later, martial arts historians would analyze that rooftop fight through documented witness accounts. 18 gang members, multiple weapons, a 16-year-old with 3 years of Wing Chun training, 8 opponents disabled before Bruce had to run. The geometric principles Ip Man taught him. The instinct to attack instead of defend when outnumbered. The tactical use of environment and positioning. But the real significance wasn't the fight itself. It was the consequence. And if Bruce Lee had never gotten into that confrontation with Wu, if he'd avoided the rooftop that night, if he'd backed down when 18 men came for him, he would have stayed in Hong Kong, continued training with Ip Man, maybe become a martial arts instructor, maybe opened a school. Instead, he went to America, where he would refine Wing Chun into Jeet Kune Do, where he would teach Steve McQueen and James Coburn and Chuck Norris, where he would create martial arts cinema as a global phenomenon, where he would become Bruce Lee. All because of a rooftop fight in Kowloon. All because a 16-year-old couldn't walk away from disrespect. All because sometimes the worst decisions create the best outcomes through paths no one could predict. Hong Kong, November 1958. A rooftop, 18 gang members, 1 teenager with fast hands and no quit. The fight that sent him to America and changed martial arts history forever.